All right, so a few people have asked me now how I went from being kind of pudgy and soft and pretty much out of shape, really. I wasn't in terrible shape. I wasn't especially overweight or anything. Into being pretty ripped and cut and healthy in less than 3 months, basically. I don't remember exactly when the divorce trial ended, but pretty much the second the divorce trial ended, I started really getting into the, health and taking care of myself right that minute, pretty much. And so yeah, I thought I'd share a little bit of information about that, and I also thought I'd go ahead and share just some overall health information that I've discovered over the years. When I was when my ex was very first pregnant with my first son, Everett, I got really into health just in general, and just studying about what the human body actually needs, what the healthy levels are of what you should be consuming or not consuming, it's pretty basic information, and most of it's pretty obvious, but you don't really get the straight deal. I don't think any of the official diets tell you the truth. I don't think the what do they call this? The South Coast diet, the South Beach diet, paleo diet. What's the one where you eat all the fats you want, but you don't eat any carbs? I don't think any of those diets are really good for you. In a lot of ways, a lot of those diets are really bad for you and cause kidney damage and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah. But the human body has pretty simple needs, or a pretty simple evolutionary design, really, overall, taken in fact. So, first of all, you've got to eat and drink the least amount of toxins you can. That's just step number one, because no matter how much you work out or how good you're taking care of yourself on all these other levels, mentally, physically, if you eat or drink something that has poisons in it, some kind of intense toxin, you could get cancer and die just from that one terrible contamination, that one terrible chemical. So, but the human body's fairly resilient. So if you've already been polluting your body for years and years and years, that doesn't mean you should that you're definitely going to die of cancer or anything. In fact, if you clean up your diet right now, today, and follow some of my quick and easy suggestions, there's a good chance that most of those toxins will just wash right out. So that's the positive message. That's the hopeful message there, and it's real too. But the main thing is you want to sustain clean food and water as much as possible, which means you don't want to go to fast food ever. You don't want to buy any kind of processed foods that come in a package. If it comes in a bag and it's sitting on the shelf for months, or if it comes in a box and it's sitting on the shelf for months, or it comes in a can, it's been sitting on the shelf for months, or a bottle, or anything that's been sitting on a shelf for months, that's not food. That's not something you need to be eating or drinking. So chips, crackers, candy, any kind of like open and put in your mouth kind of thing is not a real, that's not food. It's not good for you, and your body's not really designed to consume that. Which, I mean, I think most of us know at this point, but it bears repeating. Another thing too is just, low quality. If you're going to fast food a lot, you're getting the very lowest quality of ingredients, so there's a much higher chance that you're going to get some kind of contamination, some kind of poisoning, some kind of cancerous agent there, whether it's pesticides, herbicides, cleaning products, industrial solvents, industrial lubricants. I mean, there's just so much nasty stuff that ends up in fast food. Do not eat at McDonald's. Do not eat at Burger King. Do not eat at Taco Bell. Do not eat at Del Taco. Do not eat at Yoshinoya. Do not eat at Sonic Burgers. Do not eat at any of those places. If you have to go to fast food, if it's like that's the only option you got, which is, again, and we'll talk a little bit more about what options you actually have, because I think that you probably have more options than you think. If you have to go to fast food, though, I'd say that, maybe Chipotle seems like the least lethal of like the big corporate fast food, but again, I don't support corporations, so I don't go there either. And then, you know, elsewise, if you're in, you know, somewhere like California or Texas, there might be some kind of a cheap Mexican place where you might be able to get some real food there. It's probably going to be really bad too, really low quality meat. In fact, I think I had my appendix out, and I blame low quality meat from burritos from cheap Mexican food in San Diego County. So that's my own personal anecdotal thoughts on that. But I mean, basically just avoid fast food, avoid processed food, avoid all that stuff. And people think, oh, well, how am I going to eat? You know, I can't, you know, I only have a half-hour lunch. I only have a 45-minute lunch. I don't have time to, you know, to go sit down at a nice meal, nor can I afford it, blah, 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 blah. Well, don't eat. Honestly, we all eat way too much. Everybody's eating way too much all the time. There's no reason you need to have more than one meal a day. And they say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That's a lie. Just like the food pyramid's a lie, you know, you're not supposed to eat hardly any grains at all. And that's like number one is the grains, you know, on the food pyramid. So, yeah, so just don't eat. In fact, I recommend not eating every day, all day, until about, I don't know, 6 or 7 p.m. I mean, by then you're going to be pretty hungry. And then by then, your body will have been in ketosis for a little while, had the opportunity to purge some of those fat cells and get rid of some of those toxins, and you know, your liver has had time to go through and actually clean out some of the toxins in your blood, etc., not just the toxins that you've been eating all day. So yeah, so don't eat don't eat one meal a day and eat at 5 or 6 p.m. And that's, you know, that's freaks so many people out. They're like, oh my God, breakfast is the most important meal. No, it isn't. I mean, think about it. Like when we were cavemen, do you think we just like instantly popped up out of bed and ate, you know, waffles and chicken and, you know, this like 5-course breakfast meal? No, that's ridiculous. No, you know, it was that's a very modern invention, and we're not evolutionarily designed for it. Clearly, that's why we have so much obesity, etc., right now. So yeah, so that's one thing. Just don't eat. Skip all the processed food. Skip all the fast food. Wait till you can get somewhere where you can actually eat something quality. And then here's the other thing too. When you wait all day to eat your one meal, A, you're starving, so you're gonna eat, you know, well, and B, you get to make better choices. You know, you get to go home and cook something yourself with fresh organic vegetables and you know, organic rice or organic, you know, pasta or organic meat or something. You know, you're going to be able to get something that doesn't have all the chemicals, the herbicides, the pesticides, or doesn't have as many of the chemicals, herbicides, and pesticides. Because let's be real, even the organic stuff probably has some toxins in it. So we're really just trying to do the best we can in a practical sense, right? So yeah, so definitely skip breakfast. All right, nobody needs breakfast. That's, you know, unless you're not going to get to eat again till like 10 that night. But breakfast isn't for you. It's just not. You know, from an evolutionary standpoint, I don't believe we ever had breakfast until like the last couple hundred years. So pointless. I do have a cup of coffee in the morning. I find that I am very cranky without my cup of coffee. I'm an addict, and also, I mean, coffee has some good for you stuff in it. There's some antioxidants. I always drink organic coffee. I mean, you think about it. The first thing you put in your body in the day, you've got like a clean system. Your liver's been detoxing you all night. Your kidneys and bladder and everything have been cleaning you out all night long. Generally, everybody goes to the bathroom first thing in the morning, and when they urinate, they get rid of all kinds of, you know, the urine in the morning is always like that kind of like that most toxic purge kind of urine compared to you know, the rest of the time throughout the day, or it should be. And then right away, like a lot of people will just immediately pound something just super bad for you. Some kind of super toxic energy drink. Those energy drinks are just all garbage. They come in a can, so they're garbage, period. That's it. If it comes in a can, it's garbage. If it comes in a bottle, it's garbage. You shouldn't be drinking it. Same thing if it comes in a box. If it comes in a package, you shouldn't be eating it, period. It's like, you know, I mean, there's some guilty pleasures here and there that might be okay. If you get some organic tortilla chips, and you know, and you actually make your own homemade salsa or homemade guacamole with like real vegetables and stuff, and that's probably okay to eat those organic chips with that, you know, with that homemade, because you're getting the veggies, right? You're getting the fiber from the veggies, you're getting the vitamins and minerals from the veggies, and that's really the thing. most of what you should be eating is veggies. You should be eating 90% veggies, you know, or, well, let's say 70% veggies, 20% fruit, and I think 10% meat. You know, if you got canines, which I do, and most people do. Some people don't have canines, so maybe they're, you know, perfectly healthy and fine being 100% vegetarian or vegan or whatever. But I find that unless I have a little bit of meat, I feel weak, I feel anemic, I feel I don't feel that great. Now again, I try to be pretty sparing with the meat. The meat should really only be about, I don't know, 5-10% of your diet. I mean, it should be very low. And, you know, remember too that meat is one of the most important things to get high quality, and that's going to be very expensive too. So, you know, look, if you and your family want to have steak, get the ribeye, you know what I mean? Get one organic ribeye and share it between the 4 of you, or the, you know, 2 of you, or whatever. And you're going to think, oh, I'm not getting enough steak. I want more steak than that. Well, of course you want more steak than that, but is more steak than that really healthy? Probably not. You probably only need about 1/4 of a steak, especially if you've got a giant, massive pile of green beans right next to it, or a massive salad right next to it, or massive green beans and rice, or salad and yams, or, you know, just, you know, things you're actually supposed to be eating more of, you know. And it could be, you know, pretty much any kind of vegetable product, really, as long as it's, you know, organic. Fresher is better, you know. Any kind of processed foods, pastas, rice, anything that's been stored at all is never going to be as good as something fresh. You get fresh vegetables, and also with vegetables too, it's important not to overcook them. You lose a lot of enzymes and vitamins and stuff in veggies when you cook them. So it's better to just, like, you know, lightly fry them real quickly, you know, or just eat them raw. You know, raw veggies are always good for you, period. In fact, if you eat nothing but raw veggies, you can't be fat. You can't have diabetes. You probably can't die of cancer. Like, literally, like what's the cure for cancer? Stop eating garbage, only eat vegetables. You know, unless you're already, like, way far gone and, like, you know, I don't know, stage 5, stage 6, I don't know the stages of cancer, but unless you're way far gone, if you just, like, literally switch to all organic vegetables all day, every day, I bet your cancer go away. Honestly, you know, it can't really exist in that environment, and your body is an environment. It can't really exist in that environment if you're not feeding it. You know, you can starve cancer, you can starve a lot of other diseases by just eating a ton of fresh vegetables, especially, and also fresh fruit too. Fruit is full of vitamins. It's delicious. Fruit's like my favorite thing to eat. I like fruit, you know, almost as much as I like steak, and I love steak. I'm a steak eater. You know, it's full of vitamins, and it's full of fiber. You know, you can't overeat fruit and vegetables because they have so much fiber in them. Like, literally, you could be eating fruit and vegetables all day, every day, and it wouldn't do nothing bad to you, because that level of fiber is just going to pass right through you. You know, you're going to go to the bathroom more often. You're going to speed up your metabolism. It's really just going to be a win-win-win. I mean, honestly, I had a doctor friend, and he said, you know, and he would just eat like a giant pile of fruit every morning, and then he'd have a giant pile of vegetables every afternoon, and then he'd have like whatever he wanted for dinner, you know. And he was healthy as a horse, looked like 10 years younger than he was, you know. You know, I recommend actually fasting for most of the day, and then only having one kind of big meal later in the day, and kind of fasting. Let me finish my schedule. So I have a cup of coffee in the morning. I have organic coffee. When you've just had your body clean itself out of, when you've just had your liver clean itself out of all those toxins from the previous day, and clean your blood out and everything else, do not put something super toxic in first thing in the morning. Do not put fluoridated water in your system. Do not put chlorinated water in your system. Put some kind of, you know, honestly, you should chug a bunch of all-natural spring water or well water, or some kind of like good clean water source. That should be the first thing you do every day. Just chug, you know, even just chug a gallon. Make yourself chug a gallon. You know, it'll take like, you know, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever to chug a gallon. But I mean, why not? I mean, water's cheap, right? That way, you know, you're going to be hydrated. Even if you don't drink again for like 5 hours, you're probably still going to be fairly hydrated if you chug enough water first thing in the morning. And that's, you know, you just cleaned out your system. Now you're cleaning it more by adding some more water. It's just, you know, it's a win-win-win. Again, I try to give win-win-win solutions. there's no reason to really do the half-ass compromise solutions. So yeah, and obviously the very best way to get healthy organic food is to grow it yourself. So if you can, if you're lucky enough to have a little bit of land, even in your apartment or on your balcony or whatever, anywhere, and you can grow anything edible, you should be doing it. You should be growing something. That is going to be your best way to get a clean food source. Another good way is trying to find local co-ops, local farmers markets, trying to stock up on at places like that. You're going to save money because you're shopping local, so they didn't have to spend a ton of money to ship it to you, etc., etc. They don't have to spend a ton of money on real estate because they don't have this giant, store that they're keeping heated in the winter, cooled in the summer, lit all day because they're not letting any daylight. That's one of the things that drives me the most nuts about modern society. It's like we all live in these enclosed boxes with no daylight, and then we expel all this energy and electricity relighting them. It's like, why couldn't we just have, skylights and have natural, healthy sunlight coming in? It's just, it's ridiculous. One of the things about, our whole society that's just like drives me the most nuts. The sunlight is so good for you. You have to have a certain amount of sunlight every day. Especially depending on your phenotype, genotype, whatever. You got to get some sunlight every day. And it doesn't have to be a ton. I mean, you're not going to, you get 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of sunlight every day. You're not going to die of vitamin D deficiency or whatever. But just in general, in modern society, we're not getting enough sunlight. We're in these office cubicles under this fluorescent lighting, some kind of boss we hate, doing some kind of job we hate, all stressed out, missing our kids, missing our spouse, missing our other friends and family, eating toxic food, drinking toxic energy drinks. And so many people go and smoke these corporate cigarettes. Man, if there's one thing that you can cut out of your diet immediately that will cause instant health benefits, it's corporate cigarettes. Do not smoke corporate cigarettes. I'd say don't smoke cigarettes at all. You don't need that. I mean, it's just smoking. The jury is not out anymore on smoking. The jury could be out on global warming. The jury could be out on, capitalism, democracy. The jury could be out on like a lot of things that I think probably the jury is also not all the way out on, if you get what I'm saying. But the jury is definitely not out on smoking. Smoking is bad for you. Just stop. Just stop. Get the patch, get the vape, do whatever you need to do to stop smoking, especially if you're smoking like corporate cigarettes. They are the most toxic, horrible things. And they smell awful. I hate when I come out of a building and I'm like, oh, I'm coming out of this building where, everybody's breathing each other's recycled air all day. And I'm going to step into the fresh air and boom, I get hit wall with that like nasty corporate tobacco smoke. It's just like, ugh, just disgusting. And I see all these young people, all these millennials now smoking, and I'm like, are you guys retarded? Seriously, are you retarded? Why was that a good idea to begin this habit that's filthy, it's disgusting, it's completely unhealthy, it costs money, it's expensive, and most of the time they're smoking some kind of corporate cigarette that's like, full of like herbicides, pesticides, all kinds of carcinogens. I mean, just the very worst thing you could put in your body. So yeah, if you take away one thing from this, stop smoking corporate cigarettes. I mean, if you absolutely are addicted and you can't stop smoking at all, switch to American Spirit, find some kind of organic tobacco products, special order them online, whatever you got to do. You should really just quit, but if you can't quit, or you need to wean yourself off, at least switch to something that's just not full of carcinogens and toxins, right? Okay, so that's dietary stuff. Basically just eat as much fruit and vegetables as you want almost all the time. I believe that it's best to fast all day till like 6 p.m. Now, special proviso, I get pretty famished if I fast all the way till 6 p.m. So a lot of the times I will have some kind of fruit sometime in the middle of the day. Fruit speeds up your metabolism. It's got all that fiber in it. It's got all those vitamins and minerals in it. It's delicious. And it doesn't really make you full, so I think your body's still kind of staying in that ketosis state. And so you're still, giving yourself that chance to cleanse and purge. and get all those toxins out, and as well, you're not really filling yourself up and giving your body a chance to create a bunch of fat. I mean, you can't really get fat eating fruit and vegetables. Can't be done. You get fat eating dairy. You get fat eating processed grains, you know. You get fat with sugars, heavy sugars, you know, when you're drinking a lot of sodas, salt, you know. Everybody's diet is so high in salt right now, and it's all that iodized. I mean, iodine's a poison, you know, but it's all that iodized, toxic, you know, the worst kind of salt, the worst kind of sugars, high fructose corn syrup. I mean, just all that. Just stop all that stuff. Fruits, vegetables, a little bit of meat. That's it. You know, grains is okay. If you want to have some rice or some pasta, you know, at dinner time and you haven't eaten all day, then I'd say, yeah, grains is fine. You know, a lot of people, though, they have like a giant pasta lunch and then a giant pasta dinner, and it's like, yeah, you're fat. It's not any kind of mystery. You got fat for a reason. You're eating a bunch of stuff you're not designed to eat. I mean, from an evolutionary biology standpoint, just think about what we were living like a couple thousand years ago. We were not eating pasta covered in cheese. That was not happening in the year 200,000 BC or whatever, you know? We were eating nuts, fruits, you know, probably a lot of berries and stuff you could just pick and eat right away. We were probably eating a lot of that kind of stuff. Grapes, you know, fruit from trees. I'm sure we were eating a lot of that. Probably, you know, a good amount of vegetables, other kind of roots, and probably a lot of insects. There's, you know, evolutionary biology, you know, shows that, you know, most primates end up eating a lot of insects, and we are a primate, and there's probably primates are supposed to be part of our diet. I mean, I wonder what kind of diseases don't exist statistically in societies where they do eat a lot of insects. That's an interesting idea. I'd be interested to hear if anybody else knows about that. Please respond back. But no, it's not all just about diet and drinking good, clean water with no fluorine, no chloride. It's also about other toxins too. Drugs and alcohol, all that stuff. So bad for you, obviously. Just, you know, skip it all. I mean, I'll have a glass of organic red wine with a, you know, when I have a steak, you know. And again, I'm not eating steak every day, you know. What, like once a week, you know, a couple times a month or something. I'll have steak. I'll have a glass of organic red wine. And I'll bring my own bottle, you know, to the restaurant if I'm going to go to a restaurant, because, you know, these restaurants don't have organic wine, and they're going to try and charge me some kind of crazy corkage fee. But I've found that you can negotiate them down, especially if you're going to order steak. You're like, hey, I'm going to order a $30 steak dinner right now. Maybe you can waive this corkage fee and let me have my organic wine without poisoning me with that whatever corporate garbage you've got in the back. And generally, you know, they're going to say yes to that because, A, they understand organic wine's better for you. That's what we should be, you know, having if we're going to have wine, which is, you know, kind of a big if. I mean, you don't really need wine. It's not really necessary or anything. So, yeah, so eliminate all the drugs and alcohol. Eliminate all pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals are absolutely the worst. Any kind of pills that you're on, I mean, unless your doctor literally told you, like, take this or you'll die, don't take it. Do not take any of those pills. They are just bad stuff. I mean, almost all of them have, you know, these incredible toxins in them. Almost all of them have some kind of addictive qualities, you know, psychoactive compounds that should not be in your brain. It's just really bad. I mean, the statins, what they're doing to your system, just get off of any of the pharmaceuticals you can. If you're eating a ton of fruits and vegetables every day, you know, you're not going to need most of those pharmaceuticals because you're going to be healthy, because you're not going to be dying of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, everything else. Now, you got to get there, obviously. So if you're on some kind of thing that you need to be on right now to survive, then stay on it while you transition to a healthier diet and lifestyle. Yeah, get off the pharmaceutical, and do not get vaccinated. Do not get vaccinated. Do not get any kind of shot. Again, unless you're dying and the doctor says you're going to die if you don't get this shot, don't take the shot, period. Don't give it to your kids. All those shots have so much bad for you stuff in them. They've all got aluminum, a ton of aluminum, which has never been tested and is totally a neurotoxin. Aluminum is what causes dementia and Alzheimer's later in life, and all these people get dementia and Alzheimer's later in life now, and they've all been, you know, vaccinated. They've all had, you know, other shots. And the aluminum is mostly a preservative. It's not even there as something that's, you know, beneficial to you in the vaccine. It's there just so the corporation can save a couple of bucks. It's like, just awful. And, you know, these vaccines have mercury, they've got fluoride, they've got just, monosodium glutamate, MSG, they've got glyphosate. Almost all the shots now have glyphosate in them, which is a carcinogen and a neurotoxin. So it's just, you know, don't take any shots. That's definitely at all, unless you're going to die. If the doctor says, hey, you're going to die if you don't take the shot, okay, take the shot. But other than that, don't take any shots. And finally, exercise. Now, here's the thing about exercise. It matters what your goals are. My goal has been to amass muscle mass as quickly as possible. I was already, you know, fairly thin. I was out of shape and weak on the cardio and just, you know, had a little bit of extra pudge everywhere. But I wanted to gain muscle mass and just get ripped and attract a new female, since the last one turned out to be a complete and total whore. So, yeah, so for me, my workout goal has been to hit the gym and to pump as heavy of a weight as I can. I'm really trying to maximize the weight that I'm pumping. So, you know, instead of doing like, you know, 20 or 30 reps of something that's easy for me to lift, I'm only doing like 3 or 4 reps of something I can barely lift. And that's the way you gain muscle mass. If that's your goal, if you're a dude. Most women and most people who are a little bit overweight, they don't want to gain muscle mass, they want to lose weight. So if you want to lose weight, you need to do a lot of reps of a lower weight, something that's easier for you to lift, and you need to do a lot of reps, and you got to do cardio. You got to do cardio. Now here's the thing. Most of the places you have to run aren't grass, aren't sand at the beach, aren't something that's going to be nice and soft for your body for that pounding. So, I mean, running as a human in modern society is really, really tough. Most people are wearing shoes. We're not designed to wear shoes. You should be running barefoot if you're running at all. And running, I don't think, is even the best cardio there is. I'll get into that in a second. But if you're going to run, make sure you're running on sand at the beach, grass. Make sure you're barefoot. Even dirt is okay, but it's still, I mean, you're really pounding your knees, you're pounding your hips, you're pounding all those joints. And if you're tall and if you're overweight, all those joints and bones are taking that pounding, and it's, you know, it's not going to be good for you. You're going to have, you know, knee replacement or a hip replacement or who knows what, especially if you've been drinking fluoridated water all your life and your bones all have fluorosis and they're all weak. It's just, yeah, do not drink water with fluoride in it, whatever you do. Yeah, so, but you got to have a bunch of cardio. The evidence is that the cardio should be as extreme as it can be. So if you're going to run, don't like lightly jog for half an hour or 45 minutes. Pound like Godzilla himself is right behind you and you're running for your life. That higher level of cardio, I mean, just sprint at full speed for, you know, 3-4 minutes. That's going to be a better workout than jogging for half an hour. And better than running. Or anything where you're, you know, pounding your feet onto the ground or onto a hard surface, especially like concrete or wood or like a track. Like, people trying to make anybody over 20 run on a track is like, what? You're just gonna put them on the, you know, you're gonna put them on the hurt list, you know. Swimming is the best cardio there is. I mean, if you swim like a shark's chasing you for 3-4 minutes every day, you just can't not be in good shape, especially if you're eating well. Now, if you swim like a shark's chasing you for 10, 15, 20 minutes, you will be an athlete. You will be Michael Phelps. You will be ripped. Your body will be gorgeous. And as a result of your body being gorgeous, more than likely your acne will clean up. More than likely your face will start looking good too. Your skin will start looking good. All that kind of stuff. So that's it. That's all my health advice. Eat as many fruits and vegetables as you can. Try not to eat until later in the day. You know, I have a little bit, like I'll have a fruit smoothie around like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and then I don't eat anything really substantial until 6 or 7 p.m. and then I go to town. I eat whatever I want. I have, you know, steak, pasta, whatever. I'm trying to eat mostly organic, and I'm trying to make it mostly vegetables. That's the key on diet. So that's it, fam. That's the secret to health. I mean, I've read till I couldn't read anymore. You're getting all that information in 29 minutes. So if you got any questions, you got any things that clarifications think I got wrong, let me know. All right. Love you all. Have a beautiful day.